Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 66 for February 9th, 2022. I am Nemesis, and I am joined by Alcatraz.
Hello.
Yes, this time, let's see, I'm trying to think of what's happened this
In the world of anime,
couple weeks.
what has happened?
I guess I had some Miko stuff again. That's kind of adjacent enough.
Yeah, I
Magic
guess.
the Gathering.
Teased a like a music video thing for the new Magic Gathering stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that, can't really think of much else right now that off the top of my head. There probably is something that I just kind of blanked out or something.
Yeah,
or just didn't see. That happens too.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, this time we're talking about some winter 2022 anime. Once again, random pick of 4, and going to watch the first 3 episodes of each, and we'll see what they're like. Essentially. Well, on one hand, I'd love to do all of them. That's not feasible.
There's too many animes.
Yeah. So again, we picked 4 at random, and we'll go ahead and start with the first one that came up in the random number generator, and it was Girls Frontline or Dolls Frontline, depending on which territory you're in, I guess. Yeah, this is based on the gacha game that is very well known. Actually from China. It's well known, and I thought for sure it already had an anime. It kind of does, but not one that was kind of weird short form parody thing.
Right.
Never had a serious anime.
Until now.
Yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, this is about a squad of girls. Yeah, because this whole thing is like it takes place in 2062 because World War III happened in 2045, and basically now they have these military androids which look like little girls for no reason, and they're all named after various kinds of guns. And yeah, they're still fighting each other. And yeah, there's different. Apparently things have changed because now we got different nations that I'd never heard of before, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, so we're focusing on this particular squad, the AR squad, which is M4, M16, AR-15, and SOP-2. Those 4 girls are they have to deliver. What was it? That was something from a computer, an old computer. They had to physically go to get to it, and they have to deliver the stuff from it to there. And M4 goes off by herself, and the rest are off. They're all doing their own thing, I guess. It's weird. And there's also they're apparently part of Griffin, and they're like I guess the good guys, so to speak, for this. And there's Sangvis, which are the bad guys, and they apparently have much more advanced battle android things.
Because apparently the T-dolls, as they call them.
Yeah, T-dolls. Yeah,
are kind of outdated.
Yeah.
The ones that Griffin has are outdated. There's
also actual humans who are like hanging back at some base, kind of somehow like I guess commanders of sorts, but except they don't really do much.
Except give commands. I guess sometimes there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done. The pencil pushers.
Yeah, it's weird how watching the first 3 episodes, how like not really actually a lot happens, and yet a whole bunch of stuff happens.
Yeah,
the presentation is weird and all over the place in that regard. Because it feels like a lot of nothing happens. Like, and it's like it feels like they're trying to do this whole plot-driven thing, but not really doing it very well.
Yeah, that's like. And when we first started watching it, we had to stumble because it throws you right in, and it's really confusing. It's like, wait, is this a sequel? Or because
we actually stop. Hold on, is this actually a sequel? Because we can't watch this as a sequel.
Because you're looking for new ones. But no, this isn't a sequel. It just kind of throws you in and tries to explain things along the way. And I guess
you can do that. I
don't think it's executed very well,
no.
And I think it leans a little bit too much on potentially needing you to know information straight from the game.
Are you familiar with the game?
Yeah.
And the problem with that is an anime like this is designed to bring in new people.
Yeah.
If you cater to people who are already well versed with the game story,
it's not going to help. And everything else you're saying, I was getting a lot of that too. It seems like they've built up a lot of lore in the game, and they're trying to build it into the show as quickly and as haphazardly as possible.
Yeah, so this stuff happens.
Yeah, stuff's a lot of... It seems to be kind of jumping around a lot, and it's kind of hard to follow.
A little bit, yeah.
In the first 3 episodes. I don't know if it'll, things will mesh together and smooth out as the episodes go on, as things are more explained and storylines start to reconnect and whatnot. If that's how it goes, I don't know. We've only seen the first 3 episodes. But within those first 3 episodes, I was getting a lot of jumpiness and hard to follow on the story.
Wait, what just happened?
Yeah. There was a okay.
Or why'd that happen?
Yeah, there was a lot of the I see stuff is happening, and I see that there is backstory that has yet to be explained.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
and
that.
And it's like some of it, sure, you don't have to explain everything, but some of it seems to be kind of important.
Right. And that's what I think they've established. Is like they've established these two characters have backstory. The big, these characters have some history to them that we haven't shown you yet. I'm hoping they're playing it more they have backstory to make you curious that we're going to explain, and not they have backstory that we expect you to already know from the game kind of a way, which sometimes it feels it. And again, sometimes it feels like that's what they're going to do, one or the other, and it kind like it doesn't. Haphazard is the only word I can really think of to put here. Is that they made it with no real clear one direction and not the band as to where they wanted to go with the story. I don't know, maybe too much story they're trying to do at once, too many hands in the pot on the execution of the story. I don't know, but it feels like they're trying to do too many things at once and it's getting jumbled.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, the animation looks good, action seems great, everything else I think seems okay. It's just the story is getting kind of hard to follow.
Yeah, some ways. The other thing, the thing is, I'll at least say the actual characters are at least designed distinct enough, at least in my opinion, that at least I can immediately tell who's who.
I was having a little bit issues differentiating between, but that's just me issue.
Yeah. They kind of like one of them, like M16 has an eye patch and everything, stuff like that. And kind of, she apparently is the older sister for M4, like for real, the older sister, not just a.
Which makes sense because, well.
Yeah. Because, sometimes you get that, the older person is just called a, big sister by everyone else, just regardless, but not here. No. She actually is the older sister.
Yeah, that is one thing, kind of the nods. If you are actually into weapons at all, into guns and the history of guns and such like that, yeah. So that's kind of interesting because they're not like fake guns; those are actual things.
And they really try to play up the idea that these characters are kind of they're supposed to be out of date androids. Mm-hmm. And then at times it seems like, are you sure they're out of date? Because they seem to be holding their own pretty well.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a trope, though.
Yeah, the whole thing. See, old technology isn't so bad after all.
Yeah.
It's weird. This one is actually done by Asahi Production, who had a hand in Akudama Drive, apparently.
Interesting.
So it's interesting there. They're doing the animation, and in a weird way, in many ways, it's kind of a lot of cool stuff. Like a lot of the fight scenes and stuff are actually kind of cool. But at the same time, this is weirdly bland.
Yeah, it's a really hard to pin down mash of things going on.
Part of me almost wants to keep watching it, just see, okay, if they ever explain this stuff,
yeah,
will it ever get better?
Does it smooth? Because sometimes that happens, especially for a new anime. In the first season, things are a bit rough, and then the writers figure out what they're doing, and things clear up within the first season or whatnot. So sometimes that does happen. It's not unusual. See it a lot in live action stuff as the actors figure out their characters. So who knows? I am a little curious to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
To see if it gets any better. I know some certain individuals that both of us know that have been quite into the games.
Yeah. Another thing is the OP was actually pretty good. I remember that.
Yeah, that was one.
Apparently called Bad Candy. And you got the Edie as well, and that's the whole thing. And there's a couple of things where it's definitely got the little bit the weird fan servicey stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of the character designs are like, why are they just in bikini bottoms?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Because
and then some stuff are in the OP as well, just kind of like random. Okay, we're just gonna.
Yep.
We're gonna pose.
Oh yes, the poses and.
Yeah, it's kind of weird on that front. It's like. And it's because of the wide variety, and of course the androids, that kind of throws a whole weird thing in there.
Yeah.
And also, my familiarity with the franchise is largely from seeing just random Yuri pictures of the characters.
Random Yuri pictures or someone else just talking about it. Yeah.
That's the thing. There's also other random gun characters and stuff who show up here and there.
There's the other team that does show up. With the what was that other team? that Genatine works with during the training and whatnot with the
SMGs and stuff, and there's like MP5.
Yeah, with the SMG ones and such.
And of course, they sometimes kind of play little tutorials, like the PPSH was very Russian.
Yep,
very Russian.
The Russian guns are very Russian-like girls.
Then they got.
Which I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense,
That
but
makes
it's just kind of
sense.
funny. It's like when Japan does this. You see this in anime. I should show you that stuff. But the Gundam, that one Gundam series.
Oh, geez.
Where they basically all these Gundams based formed off various countries, and oh boy, it's fun when you see a Gundam with sombrero.
Turns
or
out
a gun
that
that looks like a big old windmill.
Turns out America's not the only country and culture that likes to Flanderize other cultures.
Yeah. Or it's a thing. It's weird. I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, but I am a little curious to see if it gets smoother and a little bit better, if it gets more cohesive.
Already 5 episodes have aired, so who knows?
Yeah.
6 episodes will actually be airing shortly after this episode comes out.
So by the time you hear this, it may have 6 episodes.
No, it will not.
Well, it depends on when you actually hear this.
Depends if you wait a couple days, yeah, sure. But
wait a month and the whole
yeah, if you wait long enough, all of them will be out.
Yeah, it's amazing how
possibly even a
works.
second season if you wait even longer. I don't know. Depends on how that goes. All falls out. But yeah, it's just one of those that I don't know about how to feel about it.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird. There's some interesting bits to it, but it's mired in a lot of weird execution and on all the concepts and whatnot.
I guess if you're into guns.
Yeah, I guess.
Which, I mean, I do have some interest in them because they're neat mechanical tools and
Pew,
how they
pew.
work, but like, if I hear like Barrett 50 shows up in the in the anime, I might have to check it out really again.
Anyway, you guys can move on from there because I guess at this point
Moving
we're
on.
just sputtering about it.
Yeah.
The next one we watched, In the Land of Ladal.
Ladale. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, I heard them pronounce it once and I can't remember after that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's Ladal. I think it's, I want to say it's Ladal.
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, this is an isekai. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, but basically you got the main character there. It's an high elf. She wakes up, and yeah, she was a player in this video game that was a thing. And turns out she's waking up in the world 200 years after the game she played took place. And as her character, and yeah, it's she's a high elf and all that stuff. Going by the name Kana. And the whole thing, there's a whole thing there, but her real life self died.
Yeah, apparently she was
in the hospital, and the power went out, and all the machines keeping her alive shut off. Which is like, all right, guys,
that's not a great hospital.
It's a terrible hospital because
those should be on backups.
This would be on like backups that were kicked in immediately, and kept her alive.
Yeah, critical life saving equipment should always be on
Makes
backups.
you wonder
with
if there's a thing or
authority.
is there a sabotage.
Unless, maybe it was a massive natural disaster that the backups did kick on but couldn't keep them on long enough.
Because anyway, yeah, because those we actually opened with the power outage, and then yeah, we get to the just back.
Yep, and then she wakes
in
up
the game. Yeah, of course she's super overpowered and stuff because yeah, she's high level character already now. It's been 200 years.
She was bedridden in a hospital. All she could do is play a video game. Of course she's high level. What else?
She apparently adopted 3 children in the game because there's a weird system for that in the game, and they're there still because they're all races which last a long time. See, because she adopted 2 high elves, other high elves, and a dwarf.
Yep, and the dwarf.
Yeah, and they're kind of weirdly all like.
They really like their mom.
Yeah, those
really
dwarf
like
tries to
their
pretend
mom.
not to because yeah, that's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
But her son there is really really a mama's boy.
Scargo.
Yeah, Scargo there.
Scargo.
Yep. But yeah, and then you got My. Yeah, she's also a bit weird and all that stuff. And the dwarf is Kartats. Yeah. But yeah, she's basically, her whole thing is like, hey, this world I'm in, they kind of undo a lot of the problems with some isekai, which is she is supposedly familiar with this world, except the world has changed in the 200 years since the last time she quote unquote played.
Right.
So there's a lot of changes, nation borders have changed and so on and so forth. Systems have changed. A bunch of stuff has changed, including like how she does things. Like a lot of stuff she does naturally. Like, that's not how we do things anymore.
Yeah, like making potions and whatnot.
Yeah, she made a potion. Like, how? Where did you get this? Because no one does this anymore.
or I still love the classic joke in RPG and potion making. You take raw ingredients, make a potion. Where'd the bottle come from?
Yeah, those weird little jokes. But yeah, she also has this big old silver towel. Apparently, she turns out she has a bit of a reputation for being some evil witch or something.
Yep.
Because she used to gank players.
Yeah, you mentioned the silver tower. Apparently, that's a critical thing and seems to be somewhat of where the story is going to be going.
Something like that.
Apparently, there's a number of guardian towers or what.
Yeah, she's part of some big old sect of guild or players that were around back in the day doing stuff.
Yeah, like the top players would have their own towers.
Yeah.
But now that the game's offline,
seems like they're all
the
gone.
players are gone.
She's the only one left.
Yep, and the towers have kind of faded away, and so she's going to go and find and reactivate them.
Yeah, see what's going on there. There's a couple things like that. It's definitely a noticeable amount of just genuinely bad CG. I noticed that several times. Like, what is that? It looks unfinished. Like this was rushed out at the last second. So I don't know what the heck that's about.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I didn't quite notice it that much. I think my biggest takeaway on all of this one is it's an isekai, but it doesn't seem to follow a lot of the bad things that we don't like about isekai.
Yeah.
One, we have a primary female character.
Yeah. It's not that uncommon anymore.
It's not that, fortunately, but it doesn't immediately devolve into like a harem.
Yet.
I mean, we're only 3 episodes in. It can change. But so many times we see that, this kind of mad dude reincarnates into a video game or a fantasy world and is instantly OP and has a harem and it's just fan service galore. It's like, this is just an author insert. This one doesn't seem to be following that. Also, it doesn't really take itself too seriously. Bit tongue-in-cheek about a few things here and there, and it's kind of funny.
This was done by a studio called Maho Film, which is a very relatively new studio, and they've only done a handful of anime so far. Looks like most of it is actually some sort of isekai in some way or another.
There's so many isekais right now.
Yeah.
And being isekai'd into a video game is very common right now. Has been for a bit, but yeah.
So that's the thing. It's actually pretty funny.
It was. I was kind of enjoying it, in spite of some of the weirdness on the animation.
There's some weird little animation bits, but it's actually kind of funny. I wasn't sure what to expect from this because I saw apparently a lot of people really don't like this one. I saw it kind of got a bit of a middling reception.
Interesting.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's an isekai, people automatically know it's bad.
Well, I mean, a lot of people absolutely love the isekais because they're full of fan service. So maybe this one isn't. So that's why.
I just know it seems like people are turning against isekai because it's not just because of the fan service stuff. That's not really a big problem. The problem is just it's all the same.
Right. Which I don't really blame them. Isekai. There's been so many isekais.
I don't know. Maybe
follow the same.
It could be possible that there's another anime or whatever like this that we haven't seen.
Could be.
This is kind of a little similar to. I don't know. But it is, it's pretty funny overall. There's a lot of fun stuff about it. Honestly, I want to keep watching it.
Yeah, I was interested to see where this goes. I want to see what happens.
It's kind of a weird one, but it's kind of a fun one at the same time. So I don't know. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of stuff there going on there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. I guess down the line.
Yep.
So far, kind of interesting. I'm gonna probably keep checking it out.
Yep. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's also what was the other name for it. It was Raiduru no Daichinite. And so that's the thing. Anyway, the third one we've got was Tokyo 24th Ward, aka it's the Tokyo Nijuon-ku.
Yeah.
Nijuon-ku. Yeah, 24th Ward.
Nijuon-ku.
Yeah,
Nijuon is 24th.
Yeah. Tokyo 24th Ward. Yeah, it sounds a little weird. So
this is kind of
so this one literally starts with a kid getting hit by a car. I remember that's okay. We're starting with there. Okay,
all right. That's
there's some hologram woman who has yet to be explained at this point.
Yep.
Let's see. Man-made island in Tokyo Bay apparently is dangerous red light district in Asia. The most dangerous in Asia. Apparently, it wasn't owned by Japan. Now it's been handed back to Japan. Now it's being integrated back into Tokyo proper. And it's just kind of that's kind of the central crux of it. It's kind of the integration is happening right now, and there's that weird friction that happens from that sort of thing because it kind of develops its own culture that's somewhat independent of the rest from Tokyo.
Right.
So it's kind of integration, ruffling some feathers in the process.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Some
of which understandable, some of which, But anyway, there's a thing that happened in May 2020. A Takara Elementary School was on fire.
Yep.
And there's a girl named Asami who died in it. And she was a friend of the main characters there. And yeah, there's
Shuta.
Yeah, and this happens. Most of the anime takes place in May 2021, which is a year later. And there's a memorial service for about the fire and Asami and all that stuff. And the main characters, you got Ron, let's see, Koki, and what was his face? What was it? Shu.
Yeah, Shuta Aoi.
Yeah, and you got those three characters are more or less the main characters. Anyway, they all attend the memorial service, and then they get a phone call from Asumi.
From the dead
girl. Yeah, so something weird going on there. Anyway, it tells them about the things about to happen. Basically, there's a train barreling towards someone who's stuck on the tracks, and either you stop the train, causing it to derail and killing all those people to save the one person, or let the train hit the person and kill the one person to save the many. The trolley problem.
And they don't try and hide the fact there's a trolley problem. They literally say it's the trolley problem.
Yeah, it's the trolley problem. And they go, nah, we'll save all of them. They do. They find the third solution, which the trolley problem doesn't ever consider.
They use sudden superpowers that they get.
They get
from
superpowers
the vision.
somehow. Like Shu can suddenly just leap over buildings, and Ron goes super hacker mode, and Koki just kind of seems to have this intuition or something. I don't know.
He gets the short end of this.
I don't know what's going on there. So they save her, because it was Marie was the girl. That's a girl they know who's got stuck trying to save her dog, and they do that. And they're like, "What?" And they're like, "What's going on?" And she was convinced, Asumi's alive, and the other two are no, she's dead. And some weird sicko's messing with us.
Also, doesn't help that Ko, is the dead girl's brother.
Yeah, Koki is Koki
no, she's alive. No, she's dead. How dare you do this to me?
There's this whole thing there. Shu wants to be a hero, and that whole thing was, that was the thing was he went in the building to save her, and she died in his arms, which
he was too late.
Trauma there.
A little bit of trauma.
A bit of trauma.
Those two kind of had a thing.
Yeah, there's sort of a thing there, and there's also something like Marie's there's something going on with Marie too, and her kind of weird jealousy or something, kind of feeling that to be out and all that stuff.
Right.
There's the thing going on there. Anyway, Ron's also a graffiti artist and all that stuff and hacker, and he does the whole thing of smash the system, that sort of thing. He's into that sort of thing, which cool for him. Koki more or less wants to be part of the system.
Sort of, yeah.
He has aspirations to be a politician, and his dad's a big businessman. He's trying to establish connections to all that stuff, run for office. Yep. And so the two of them kind of keep butting heads because they have very, very different outlooks on life now.
Yep.
And she was just like, I want to be a hero.
Except that he doesn't want to anymore because it failed.
Except he does.
He does, but he doesn't want to say he does.
He's scared
to
do it because of the failure.
Because he failed.
The other thing is, there's the organization SARD, Special Administrative Region Guard.
Yep. Basically Minority Report.
Yeah, I was like, because there's this whole thing where, this system, they have this computer system in place that can detect disasters and bad things and all this.
And crimes and such like that.
I'm like, seriously, Minority Report? That's incidental, practically. By the way, we got this Minority Report computer. Don't worry about it. What?
Except that I'm pretty sure SARD's computer is the robot girl that's calling them, so it's all
something.
It all ties into it. Yeah.
But it's just so incidental, but they're mentioning the whole Minority Report computer so practically incidental. It's like you almost forget it's a thing until it becomes important in the third episode again.
Yeah. Although it's directly connected to Koki.
Yeah.
Because he's directly involved
with
he's
directly involved, but I'm just saying that the computer itself is such a glossed over for a while.
Yep, until the third episode, it's starting to get tied in more.
Yeah, and then you got that whole thing, and let's see.
And then there was a tornado.
Yeah, the Shirakawa was their teacher. He's kind of encouraging them to do stuff, and there's a tornado, and they got, once again, we're going to save everyone. They kind of mess it up because of conflicting plans, and Shirakawa dies, and several other people in there send their shell shock. Oh no, we failed. We can't. And there's a bit of fighting, and then there's also a whole thing where it's pretty clear that, crime gangs trying to do the real estate fraud thing and get people, more or less convince people to sell them their stuff, their property.
Oh yeah, there's that one. That. But yeah, and then it turns out the tornado is caused by some new big bad.
Yeah, Carnades, who's doing something. That was at the
very end of the third episode.
Like, oh hey, yeah, here's a twist to keep you interested. Oh yeah, the whole thing with the tornado was a gore fest, gourmet fest. Yeah.
Yep, that was rigged, but then one of the
the teacher was like, no, it's rigged. See, they were going to weigh the votes for each thing. They put metal weights in their box. They cheated. They were disqualified.
And then he died.
Oh yeah, and the other thing about the school was, the school was set to be shut down, but they were on the kids. They were like, no, we got to save it. We're going to try to convince them it's a big historical thing
and turn it to an art museum, and that's when it burnt down.
Yeah, and then it got burnt down, which I'm like, there was foul play involved. There's almost certainly foul play involved, considering all this whole real estate thing going on.
Yeah.
Because it was turned into a mall eventually. That mall is where a lot of the business, it's one of those things, big old mall comes in, all the local businesses are slowly going out of business because, oh no, everyone's going to the big new mall.
Yep.
Which is funny because malls are dying anyway.
Yeah, I'm waiting for all those little things to start tying in, except the introduction of the new big bad who can cause tornadoes kind of throws a monkey wrench into things. Don't know how that's going to play out.
Oh yeah, and there's also the assistant, Suzuragawa, who assistant to Koki sometimes, and she seems to be involved because she also has access to the computer thing and something going on there.
Yep, and she noticed that something was happening.
She knows
the call had happened, and she's looking it up.
And also, so there's a whole lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, I kind of like some parts of it, but man, it feels like it goes on forever.
Yeah, the pacing was kind of odd.
Yeah, it doesn't help that the first episode is double length one.
That did not help when I saw like.
Yeah, I actually sat down to watch it and saw it was double length, and nope, never mind, I'm doing something else right now.
Yeah, I saw the first episode was, it's an hour long, 44 minutes, but it's like, oh geez, it's just the first episode.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. I was a bit worried, like, these 44-minute episodes each.
The second episode, I'm like, how is this not over? How am I only like 12 minutes in? This feels like I've been watching it for 2 hours.
Which sometimes is cool when you're really locked in and enjoying it. It's like, oh, there's more.
Pacing's weird. I can't explain what the problem is.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just feels like it just goes on forever. It feels like there's lots of just nothing and then small bursts of a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just because they're trying to establish.
I don't know
if it's like just exposition to establish.
It doesn't feel very well paced, regardless, and it's hard to really get invested when it's you just kind of find yourself bored for large chunks of it.
Yeah, there's some really interesting things, but other parts of it are just like I wish it would have been smoother in areas, a little bit cleaned up here and there. I'm curious to where it's going to go.
Yeah, somewhat curious, but I'm not sure if I'm curious enough to sit through this.
Yeah. Also, it's just the trolley problem, the anime.
Yeah, it's like we're going to do the trolley problem over and over again because
that sort of feels like what we're going to be setting up. It's like we're going to have every few episodes the trolley.
And of course, angst over not being able to find the third option or whatever.
Yeah, that may be what they're going is like not always. You can't always save everyone and coming to terms with that.
I don't know
if they're going to play it like that and how they're going to tie in everything else. So there's a lot of things that they could do which could be really interesting. It's just a matter of whether they do it and whether the pacing of it can fit.
Yeah.
And be enjoyable. So I'm curious to see how they do it, but I'm not certain if I want to sit through it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like it's just. I also want to mention it is done by Cloverworks, who have popped up, very big, big studio now. Has done several things we've mentioned or stuff. It's the Promised Neverland,
Darling in the Franxx,
Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah.
KBC in uniform, which is another thing that's popped up this season. Yeah, they've done quite a few things there. So yeah, they're doing this one too, and it's a thing. I don't know about it. It's just such a weird mixed bag. I'm not sure if I want to keep up with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of the things. Like, the draws are kind of interesting, but I'm not sure if I want to suffer through the just snail pace that feels like it's going at. Because it's just like I'm just sitting there, just like, how is this not over yet?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, but not always interesting in good ways.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know. It's odd. It's an oddball.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get to the final one here. Life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout, aka Fantasy Bisoujo Juniku no Ojisanto. Yeah. So it's another isekai,
It's another isekai.
but this one's a little different.
Except it's still isekai into a video game.
Anyway, and you get Jinguichi Tsukasa, who's a tall, handsome man, excels in athletics and academics, popular with all the girls, but no interest in them whatsoever.
Yep.
You got that guy who's best friends with Tachibana Hinata, who's just average in every possible way. Average.
And lives in his friend's shadow.
Friends with friend's shadow. Anyway, they're kind of best friends and stuff. Eventually, one day, they get drunk at some party or whatever, and
one of them does.
and Hinata there starts sitting there drunkenly wishing that he, could be a beautiful girl, who stops people, makes people stop in their tracks, all this stuff, and then some goddess shows up, says, "Yeah, you'll do. You're not dead yet, but whatever.
I can fix that.
Fix that real quick." And then they wake up in this other world, and the Morse test told, the typical thing, world's in danger, gotta save the world from the Demon King, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Although there's some implication that might not actually be true. On top of that, Hinata there is now a girl.
In particular,
like they wished for.
The girl exactly the girl he wished for.
And there's that whole thing, and then there's the implication of romantic feelings between the two of them, and them trying to avoid it because it's weird.
Also, it's like, yeah.
Because they feel weird about it.
Is it the curse or is it not?
It's not a curse. It's pretty obvious not the curse. They just assumed it was, because I remember the curse that she gave them had nothing to do with that. They just assumed because that's they just want to latch onto the only logical explanation.
Like, no, I can't have feelings for you. It must be the curse.
Anyway, so the large chunk of these episodes are them flirting with each other and then go, "Oh crap, no," or trying to weaponize the flirting or whatever, and yeah.
And also just figuring out.
On top of that,
everything.
Jinguichi is pretty overpowered.
Yeah.
Like
super OP.
Yeah, like punched a hole in the scary creature thing.
Who apparently is like a super like guardian of the forest.
Yeah, guardian deity.
It was great because the comically punching a hole through him because a perfect cylindrical hole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Hinata is not. Hana actually technically is, just in a very different way.
She's just a little girl.
She's a small, weak thing, but she could just bat her eyes at you. That's it.
Yep.
You're done.
Because she is impossibly beautiful.
Yeah. But the problem is she also causes trouble just by existing.
Yep.
Like, you just wander into town, there's bandits, and, the bandit sees her, and then immediately, "Marry me."
Marry me.
What? And then, "Marry me." Yeah, over and over again. But Jinguichi is clearly immune to it. No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's just better at hiding it and resisting it.
So Jinguichi can summon Hinata's apartment.
Yes, because apparently his wish at the moment was, "I'm going to get Hinata home.
I want nothing more than to get you home."
Yep, that was his wish. So that's his powers. He can summon a door that goes to Hinata's apartment.
Yep, just summon the apartment door, which the electricity and everything works, but no TV.
No TV.
Dang.
Also, it doesn't restock food. Yeah. Water works, though.
Yep. There's a vain elf that shows up who, gets upset when people think that Hinata there is more beautiful than her, and then of course she swears revenge over it.
Yep.
She's gonna be a thing. There's a lot of weird things going on with this. So, the gender thing.
The gender thing.
This is one of the ones I saw. I was like, "Well, you'll get it." Yeah, I don't know. This is actually not the only one. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
This season, there's another one that's very similar.
She professes herself pupil of the wise man was another one. It's a manga that just got an anime adaptation that popped up. That's also a video game isekai gender bend.
Yep, which is weird. We're getting two. It's again the nickel thing. It's weird. It's not a lot, but weird it happened twice.
Yeah, I love that quote. Why did that show have so much good quotes?
I don't know. But so there's a whole thing there that it's a weird thing where it's like, okay, I've said it before when we did Kashimashi, which is gender bender does not necessarily equal trans.
Right.
It's because the way Japan does things with this stuff, this sort of thing. Kashimashi was very much. I was like, that's very much a trans thing.
Yeah.
Here, it's kind of seems to be trying to ride a line.
Yeah.
Because we got the whole thing where, nearly, just lying on the ground, crying to
My life
themselves
is
drunk.
miserable. I might
I
as
want to
well
be a girl.
is what the quote was. At
One of
least
those
in the
things,
subtitle.
when you're drunk, your true self comes out. That whole thing.
Right. And then it's like, is that the true self, or is there something else to it as well? It's right that you.
But then
can
we get
take
back
it.
to, we're in the fantasy world here, and all now wants nothing more than to go back to the way they were. And it's like,
Except,
why
does he
do that? I'm going to do that right now.
Let's use they, because we don't know. It rides that line.
Yeah.
It doesn't take itself very seriously.
Yeah, it's very silly
tongue in
thing.
cheek.
There's the whole thing there. Yeah, there's also the whole Jinguichi is very attracted to Hinata, and there's implications that the attraction is already there.
Yes, that was when it's like, you were gay for your friend beforehand.
The other thing, Jinguichi
that's
also comes across sometimes as a little weirdly misogynistic.
A little.
Because, like, he just does not care about women. And the way he talks about women, too.
He doesn't trust. And that's one that pops up a lot. He doesn't trust women. I think some of that is sort of, it's the whole explanation of that's kind of hand-wavy, but it kind of explained it as women fawned over him all the time, but he saw it as kind of, I guess, shallow.
Yep.
So that's what he sees and expects. And I guess that's how he built up this distrust of women, is that he just sees them all as shallow, because that's just all he experienced. I guess the explanation was pretty quick and just kind of, there it is, move on. So,
Yeah, it's a weird, that's a weird thing.
He's kind of weird about that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. He seems to be already in love with Hinata there, and like, it's a whole thing. And then as a girl, still feeling the feels.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the weird thing. Now Hinata's starting to feel things for, which that's the whole thing. Of course, there's implication there might have already been something there, just kind of suppressed it super hard, but now as a girl, not suppressing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because then on top of that, the goddess that I guess killed them and brought them to this world, also the goddess of love and beauty, who apparently the elf worships, and she's also kind of a jerk. And just
although it's like most of their initial problems in the curse was just because what's his face picked a fight with the goddess.
And I will not apologize.
It's just, no, I am right.
Yeah.
Which I guess you were, but still.
But yeah, there's an implication. Some of the implication is their whole thing about the Demon King stuff. There's some dialogue which almost throw away practically, which like the goddess may have been lying to them about the Demon Kings or whatever, because they I think Jinguichi asked around, like, heard nothing about, no one knows anything about any sort of Demon King.
Yep.
So it's like, So what the heck is the purpose here? Why are they here?
I don't know. By the third episode, we don't know.
Yeah.
One thing that was just kind of, when they're talking about how old they were, being 32 years old.
And we're old. Ow. Okay. Cool. That's good to know, I guess.
Don't do this
to me. Don't do this to me.
Or the constant reminder when Hinata's drinking beer. Yeah. This is a 32-year-old.
This is a 32-year-old. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Also finding out, smaller body, super lightweight now.
Yeah. It's a lot less body mass for that alcohol to spread out and dilute.
It's a weird thing because it's whole riding the line thing about the transgender bender, whatever. It seems you can't decide how it wants to play this out. There's a line at the very end of the third episode, which is really kind of it hits you hard when it's like the whole thing about the asking about the spirit,
is gender in the body or the spirit.
Yeah, and it's like, doesn't matter. You are what you are.
Yeah, I was like, whatever is right. I'm trying to remember what the subtitle quote is because how accurate they are to the jet. Yeah,
whatever feels right to you.
Whatever is right to you. So it's one of those, like I was saying, it doesn't take itself seriously.
Until it does.
But then it hits you with that, and it's like, and I'm wondering if that's how it's going to play out, if that's just like a one-off thing, or if it's going to continue on.
So it's a weird thing there. The funny thing is, regardless how their relationship ends with, how Hinata wants to go with themselves and everything, it's a queer relationship regardless.
Oh yeah, it's totally queer.
I love that. Regardless, it is.
It's totally queer.
regardless of how you want to deal with how it plays out in the end. But yeah, it's just kind of it's an overall weird thing because I mean, there's a narrator who's like, yeah, this is a romantic comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it totally is.
They are falling in love with each other. They don't like this.
I love since it's a video game, they have like status indicators.
Charmed,
and like that. No, I'm not. No. Look up.
Huh?
Oh.
But why? Yeah, let's see. This was done by, OLM, which, Oriental Light and Magic. Let's see. They've done quite a bit of things over the years. Yeah, I did some Pokemon. Wow, they've done a lot of Pokemon. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else on this list.
Was that like, did they get the name from like ILM or was it the other direction?
I don't know. They were established 1990.
Well, it's pretty early then. Except,
Yeah.
I think ILM came out.
ILM was in the 70s.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Star Wars came out in the 70s?
And so I'm trying to see if there's anything else I recognize on this big list of stuff. Oh, hey, Odd Taxi. I remember that one. That was the one that came out last year. Oh, Comey Can't Communicate. Restaurant to Another World. Okay, yeah.
Hey.
I've seen those. I haven't seen them, but I know of them.
Yeah.
This thing. Is there anything else? I could have sworn I saw it. Zoids. Beyblade. Beyblade.
Zoids.
Pretty Peachy-chan. Yeah, there's quite a few things, but it seems like largely the like franchise toy stuff.
Right.
More Pokemon. Yokai Watch.
Wait, they did Berserk?
Did they? Which one?
1997.
Okay, so it's not the bad one. Oh, it's not the really bad one. Apparently, that first one is not so great either. But it's not like the current newer one, which was there's an infamous GIF going around where it just literally looks like someone took the mouse and just kind of.
Sometimes that's hilarious when they do it on purpose.
And you see all these character in the background just slowly sliding out of frame. It's like and then of course he's then somewhat compared to the actual Blu-ray, which is significantly improved.
Oh yeah, another interesting thing that caught my attention about this one, just in the art, Hinata's female form, sharp teeth.
Shark teeth. Why? Don't know.
Don't question. It's a great choice. Great choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, it's actually really funny for the most part. I'm a little concerned about some of this stuff because anime, I'll be real honest, doesn't exactly handle queer things super well sometimes. So it can be a bit of a crapshoot. I've seen some which handle this pretty horribly, but I've also seen stuff which handle these things pretty well. See Kashimashi.
Right. Yep.
So it could go either way at this point. I don't know how it handles things in the future. I don't know how. I mean, we already had one really, really touching moment, but sometimes those are undermined because later on they turn into a joke or whatever. I don't know. So who knows? At this point, I'm definitely gonna keep watching it
to see what happens.
Yeah, and I want to see it is genuinely kind of charming in a way.
Yeah, that's I guess cautiously optimistic. Is what I want to say.
There's definitely some weird things here and there, which like,
why it's cautiously optimistic.
Particularly Juin Guichi, again, his weird misogyny, because he doesn't seem to like women very much. But it's like why is it this particular woman? Yeah, is it one of those things where the gender doesn't matter, or what?
I wonder. And I'm not as educated as I would like to be on certain details within LGBT stuff when it comes to like the gray. Side of things. He obviously has feelings for his friend, but they don't seem to expose that much until later. So I wonder if there's something there. Maybe because I was thinking like he's not that interested in men either, except it's also he's not interested in anyone until he gains a connection.
To the degree that feels like what it reads to me is like, he's only really interested in Hinata and only Hinata and not really anyone else.
Right, but those further feelings didn't really develop until Hinata at least presented female.
I don't know. Because
that's the weird one.
The weird thing, there was a dialogue, there was some like he had an internal monologue which kind of acknowledged he's in love with his best friend. So it's kind of a weird thing, but I don't know. It's possible there wasn't it's a weird thing. It's possible it's a heterosexual, but homo-romantic.
It could be that.
Or whatever.
Or something.
Demi-romantic possibly, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's kind of in love with the best friend, but physically not really attracted until turned female.
Right.
Which, or I don't know, or possibly there's a whole weird thing. There's a whole lot you can get into on that one.
There's a whole lot with a...
And this is never going to get into it because it's not it's kind of a deep subject, which, there's even then the LGBT stuff is still kind of sometimes debated to a degree. And
right, because it's so personal and unique.
And complex.
It's people are messy and nothing is as simple as you want it to be.
Yeah. People don't fit in boxes despite the fact we try to shove them in anyway.
Exactly. People don't fit in boxes.
Our brains like boxes. The world does not like boxes.
The only way you're going to fit everyone into a box is if you make a unique box for every single person.
Yeah.
And then why put people in boxes in the first place? You've just made it pointless.
Then it's easier to ship them. Ha!
Don't ship real people. Unless they say it's okay.
Yeah, so that's the fourth one, which means we're at the end of this episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of a mixed bag. Kind of hard to talk about some of them.
Two of them are kind of weird. Two of them are actually genuinely interesting.
Yeah.
Two of them are definite like actually, like definitely going to keep watching them. One of them is in a... Two of them are definitely in the I don't know, but I might. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you found it informative, Hope you liked it, all that stuff. You can check out other episodes if you did at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com, spelled L-A-B-S-Y-N. Check us out there and check out subscribe to the RSS feed there and check us out on other destinations if you want. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Podcasts. Any of those destinations, you can search for New to Weeaboo and subscribe via those. Whichever one you want. If you want to contact us, you could do so via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com. If you have questions or comments or anime recommendations, or what did you think of these anime? Were you watching these anime? Do you have differing opinions? Are you going to yell at us about the girls' frontline lore or whatever? That you just don't get it, you're idiots.
It's super in-depth and detailed and perfectly written. How dare you?
I don't know.
It's a gotcha game. How deep can it get?
Pretty deep, actually, turns out.
Some of them can be, but I mean, it's still a gacha game, so a lot of the focus is as many characters to make you buy as possible.
Hey, look, waifus.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's all that stuff. If you want to contact us that way, you could also follow us on Twitter. We're at newtoweeaboo. You'll see us there. See new episodes as they come out, and sometimes occasional other random anime stuff. Whenever I remember to tweet it on there. There's also personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. He's at Alcatraz7, Steven 7T, and an underscore at the end. And that's it for this one. Join us next time for the next episode in February. We're going to be talking about Little Witch Academia.
Finally.
This one actually supposed to happen a couple episodes ago, but things got just reshuffled around.
Yeah.
So I'm really been actually genuinely looking forward to this one because I want to rewatch it because it's an anime.
It's been a while since we've watched it. Yeah,
I'm still actively reading fan stuff and whatnot.
You're still keeping up with Dayako shipping,
Oh, of course,
because of course.
So that's a thing. We'll talk about that next time. And yeah, until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you then.
See ya.
Goodbye.